Closing the loop is very important for your manifestations. Are there any loops that need closing? Today, I'm going to be talking about loops and why it is so important you close them. But before I get going, I'm Tanya Pluckrose from Rich Results Mindset, and I'm all about helping you master your mind so you can master your life. And if any of my content is resonating with you, then please consider sharing, liking, commenting, and subscribing. Okay, let me get going with this juicy video today. Closing the loop. Well, first of all, you must be asking, well, what do you mean closing the loop? Well, sometimes we have business we need to finish up with, and we keep putting it on the back burner. You know, I'll deal with that person, that situation, that thing. I'll deal with that another time. And that another time never comes. Never ever comes. It's almost like a someday project. Someday I'll get to that. But I don't know if you realize that is actually taking up a lot of free rent inside the boardroom of your mind. And when you are percolating, putting it on the back burner, and it's percolating away, of course, because you haven't closed the loop. And when you don't close a loop, then you tend to stay in a more negative consciousness level, a negative conscious level. And there are different, as you know, different vibrational frequency scales. I mean, Hawkins has a frequency scale, but I have discovered that sometimes when we're not closing the loop, what happens is we tend to have a dip in the valley whenever we think about that person, place, or thing that might have disturbed us or hurt us, or somehow there's some unfinished business there. I often call it might be fear or resentment. So we haven't closed the loop. And so the loop, there's a gap. There's a gap in the loop. We haven't shut up shop. And so this is costing us a lot in our vibration, in our vibrational state. It's costing us greatly. And you may not be aware, not even realize this, however. And so what happens is you'll notice if you haven't closed the loop, because you'll have a feeling, I call it a dip in the valley feeling, this knot in your stomach that happens when you think about that person, place, or thing where you haven't closed the loop. There isn't a 360 experience, okay? There's only a 180 possibly. And so it's important you go and close the loop. Now, you're probably asking, well, I'm never going back to talk to, such and such. I mean, I just wouldn't go back there. But I'm not asking you to possibly even face the person physically in any way. But you can close the loop by feeling the feelings within your gut, the feelings you are feeling within your gut when you are activated by the thought of that person, place, or thing. And by spending time in the feeling and actually feeling it, not thinking about the thoughts so much, but actually going below the thoughts and getting to the root cause where the feeling is, and sitting in the feeling and allowing the feeling to release, then you are actually closing the loop, because the feeling has certain thoughts attached to it. And those feelings are pricey. They are costing you a lot because you are sitting in a certain vibrational state where you are constantly in the receivership of similar thoughts that that match that feeling. So you might as well just sit with the feeling for a while, let it come up, and it may take a while to release. It may take a little while to actually sit in it, but even if you start the process, you are starting to close the loop. And then from releasing that intensity of the feeling, over time it does dissipate and eventually go, but also the memory of that situation, that person or place or thing, it eases. You may never think of that person again because they're no longer part of that feeling that was on a certain vibration. You may never think of that situation again. Or if you do somehow think about that person, place again, because you've released the feelings by sitting with them and asking to release them, then the sting would have gone. I do believe that once you release the feelings associated with a person, place, or thing, you'll go to another reality. You'll end up actually sitting more in a higher level of consciousness where you're in the receivership of completely different thoughts because you're in a different field of thoughts, so to speak. So it's really worth doing the work to close the loop, because you don't even realize that how much it's costing you. And once you start to deal with the feelings, then you'll probably end up sleeping really, really well. You won't want to sabotage yourself anymore, like overeat or drink or possibly binge watch Netflix or scroll on social media, because those are often forms of escape to get away from the feeling about the situation. And you'll end up probably not doing any of that acting out because you finally have sat with the feelings that can be very uncomfortable, but you are going to release them, and then you're going to suddenly feel so much better, probably sleep a lot better, and of course start to attract more quickly because you finally have released that dominant feeling that has kept you stuck in a vibration, on a frequency or in a vibration that has stopped you manifesting quickly. So leave your thoughts. I'd love to hear your responses to this video. Thanks for your company today, and I look forward to seeing you again soon. Bye.